The most interesting word in this week's biggest celebrity story isn't return. It's film, the reports, and they are reports, insider-sourced and unconfirmed. Say Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are planning their first real return to the UK in 6 years. That alone would be a global story, but the detail that turns it into a television story, and therefore a story for this channel, is that they reportedly intend to document the journey, with coverage flagging the couple's reported belief that a filmed return could be, quote, the story that changes everything, and insiders reportedly warning of potential friction over cameras pointed at such delicate territory. Set aside the royal drama for a moment and look at what this actually is, perhaps the ultimate expression of the defining television format of our era, the celebrity self-documentary, in which stars stopped waiting for TV to cover their lives and started producing the coverage themselves. How did we get here? Why would a couple film their own homecoming? And what does the choice reveal about how fame, access, and television now work? That's today's Pulse. Welcome to Celeb Pulse TV, the pulse of television, taken weekly. Let's take it. Segment 1, the format that changed the fame business. To understand the reported plan, you need the format's history, because it's genuinely one of the biggest shifts in modern television. For most of TV history, celebrity coverage was external: interviews, tabloids, paparazzi, unauthorized documentaries, the star as subject, rarely as author. The streaming era inverted that. Stars discovered that platforms would pay handsomely for the one thing only stars control: access to themselves. And the celebrity self-documentary boom was born. Intimate, star-produced series where the subject is also, effectively, the storyteller. And here's the crucial context: Harry and Meghan didn't just join that format, they delivered one of its defining hits. Their Netflix documentary series became a record-breaking success for the platform, proving at maximum scale that self-told celebrity narrative could outdraw traditional programming. Their entire post-royal media career has been built on the model of owning their own story, on their terms, through their own productions. So when reports say a return to the UK might be filmed, that isn't a random impulse. It's the logical next episode of a media strategy that has worked, applied to the most dramatic chapter available: the homecoming itself. Segment 2, why a homecoming is the ultimate content and the ultimate risk. From a pure television standpoint, cold as it sounds, a filmed return is an extraordinary proposition. Every producer alive understands why. It's a real-time third act. 6 years of publicly chronicled rupture, distance, and independent life, and now, potentially, cameras present as the protagonists cross back over the ocean at the center of it all. Unscripted television spends fortunes trying to manufacture stakes like that. Here, the stakes are simply true. If the reported belief is that this could be the story that changes everything, the television logic is easy to follow, authored well. A homecoming could reframe 6 years of narrative in a single season of episodes, but this channel's job is the full pulse, and the risk side is just as real, which is exactly what the reported insider warnings about the cameras point to. The self-documentary format has a built-in paradox: its value comes from intimacy, but its presence changes the intimacy. A camera in the room during a delicate family chapter isn't a neutral observer. It alters what can happen in the room, and everyone in television knows it. There's also the audience stress tightrope. Viewers embrace self-told stories that feel honest and recoil the moment authenticity reads as production. And no subject on earth gets its authenticity audited more brutally than this couple. And the deepest issue can't be solved in an edit bay. A homecoming involves other people, on the other side of the door, who never signed a release form. You can produce your side of a reunion. You cannot produce the reunion. That's the knife's edge the reported project would walk. Segment 3, what this signals about where celebrity TV is going. Zoom out, because whether or not this particular project materializes, the reports themselves take the pulse of the industry. First signal, the self-documentary format is entering its high-stakes era. Having conquered tour films and career retrospectives, it's now reaching for live, unresolved life events. Chapters whose endings aren't known when filming starts. That's a genuine escalation of the form. Second signal, access remains the last scarce commodity in television. In a content-flooded market, The one thing platforms can't replicate is a global figure opening the door on their actual life, which is why this genre keeps commanding premium deals. And third signal, the quiet one, the line between living a life and producing it keeps thinning at the very top of fame, when the biggest personal chapters are conceived partly as television. The old question, will they film it, is being replaced by a stranger one. Was it shaped by the filming? That question, more than any royal detail, is the future of celebrity TV, and stories like this week's are how it's arriving, the honest rundown, because Celeb Pulse TV keeps its facts and its framing clean. The board, clearly, everything here builds on unconfirmed, insider-sourced reports, no platform, format, dates, or the project itself is confirmed. And reported celebrity plans routinely change or vanish. Treat this as a credible industry signal, not a listing. This episode analyzes the television dimension, the format, the strategy, the economics, and deliberately doesn't adjudicate the family story itself. Real people, on all sides, are living something genuinely difficult, and the fact that it may be filmed doesn't make their feelings content. And one professional note on the reported friction. In this industry, tension between life and cameras isn't a scandal. It's the central creative problem of the entire self-documentary genre. And how any project resolves it is precisely what would determine whether it's remembered as groundbreaking or cautionary. That's the Pulse this week. 6 years ago, a couple left an institution and bet their independence on a then novel idea that owning your own story could be a career. The bet paid off in record-breaking television. Now, if the reports are right, they're preparing the format's boldest move yet, pointing the cameras at the journey home itself, with an unwritten ending, real stakes on every side of the door, and the whole world already watching before a single frame exists. Maybe it becomes the defining self-documentary of the decade. Maybe it becomes the case study in where the format's limits live. Either way, understand what you watched this week, not just a royal rumor, but the television industry's future, taking its next step in public, will be here every week. Fingers on the pulse, telling you what's really beating underneath the headlines. If this pulse stake worked for you, our episode on the TV revival wave, why the industry keeps mining its own past, and what it means for what you'll watch next, is on your screen right now. The full series is linked in the description below. Subscribe to Celeb Pulse TV, the pulse of television taken weekly, and tell me in the comments, industry hat on, would you greenlight a filmed homecoming? Or is this the chapter that should stay off camera? Best producer brained answers get pinned. See you next week.